And that is the new cast and stun build for Kiwi. This is perhaps the penultimate cast and stun build of this thing, as it is combining the clear of Chieftain with the tankiness of Gladiator. Now, as you might notice, you do not need to spam curse anymore. There's no more penance mark, and that means no more fishing for ignites. As a result, your damage for single target is on demand. You get hit, they die. And best of all, the damage is lingering, so the damage stays over targets for an exaggeration. This is most noticeable on things like crabs and robots in Ultimatum and strugglers in Simulacrum. So even though the damage might not be as high for its peak, the consistency makes it much smoother. First things first, mechanics. This build resolves all around dagger. This dagger is the key to the entire build. The most important line here, or two lines, are the bottom two. Trigger spells can poison hits, and all damage to trigger spells can poison. This means you no longer need Osin, and you also don't need poison chance. Poison chance is unnecessary. Normally, it's a huge struggle to get poison chance here, right? It's very expensive and very right side tree. But we are full left side tree now. Left side tree with right side bonuses. And we can combine this with cast when stunned Penance Brand. So as you can see, Penance Brand is cast when stunned, it's triggered skill. Triggered skill. And cast when stunned will make this a poison trigger. And the way it's done, obviously, is you get hits and you trigger your brands, and your brands stay out. Now, I'll mention now that your brands will be active when they're on an enemy. But when you cast a new brand from a trigger, so you get stunned, you cast a new brand, that new brand will not overwrite brands that are already attached to enemies. It will replace the next soonest expiring brand, so you can maintain your damage even on bosses, even when stunned, even when casting. So when you go back to the intro, you see the Abomination will have 2 brands on him, even though I'm spamming 10 brands a second, right? 10 brands a second, but only 2 attached to him, and it goes to full energy and restarts. Now, that's the brands. But how do we get clear? Our clear is from Detonator of Scavenging. This is the perfect pairing to PB. So we do cast and stun DD with increased AoE and Ellie Prolif support. So on this gem, we get 2.1 Ellie Prolif and some more fire damage, right? And we get our Ignite chance from 40% on our, graph here. I should have rerolled this, but I forgot. And I did spend, that's right, 12 tattoos for Ignite chance for the remaining 60%. And that means that my DD does both poison and burning prolif at the same time. It does both. So now, during ultimatums, I can both prolif the burn to insta-kill on spawn, and prolif poisons, so the last remaining enemy takes a huge poison, right? So remember, when you poison prolif, only the strongest poison is passed around, and it lasts 2 seconds. So when you have 5 normal mobs and 1 rare mob, when the 5 normal mobs die one by one, they will pass their poison to the next mob. Could be next normal one. It dies, passes to the rare. Next one dies, passes to the rare. This one dies, passes to the rare. Now the rare has all 6 big poison stacks on him, and he'll die right afterwards. Now the next key mechanic of this build is faster poison. So we want our poisons to be consumed, or duration happened as fast as we can. So what I do is, for Simulacrum, I use Unbound, but for Ultimatum and Groaning Gauntlets, I want faster casting. Okay, faster casting makes it so we trigger more, we reach high energy more. I mean, we just get the damage out faster, right? Even though we lose damage over time, we want them to die as soon as possible. And we also have a faster poison nebulous to make our poisons faster. Now, I noticed this, I paid 2 div. Okay, I paid 2 div for it. I'll talk about the pricing and the gearing later on, but yeah. That's one. And here we have second one. We have faster poison gloves. Again, I paid 5 div for this. Pricing, we'll talk later. We get faster poison here, so our poisons go from 2 seconds to like 1.2, I think, and that means we kill things faster, right? And of course, poison spread comes from the gloves. The poison spread gives us a much faster clear. Now, I tried with the gloves, so I tried with like a random glove. It is noticeably slower when you try to do clear. So definitely the priority here is nearby poison spread. So if you're poison build, how do you get Wither stacks? Wither stacks actually come from this over here. Overwhelming Malice gives us Unholy Might on crits. And I get Unholy Might pretty much the entire time because I have high crit chance from power charges from Mageblood, right? So Mageblood over here gives me power charges, and with all these spells, I'm gonna crit eventually, right? This means everything I have will trigger Wither on the enemy. So 2 brands at 4 triggers a second, and 2 brands 8 times plus all the other trigger skills. We reach a decent amount of Wither stacks in combat. As for our gear, as I mentioned, I just talked with Nebulous, the glove, and the dagger. But we also have Mageblood. Now, unfortunately, this build does mandate, it requires, it's mandatory, it needs Mageblood. Because in Golden Gauntlets, the no flasks is such a pain, it will ruin half your runs. And on top of that, we are scaling max res on our damage for Nebulous. And getting +9 max res on flasks is much better than +4. Not to mention that we really need to cap our suffixes on resistances here. Unique, 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 minus cold res. No, unique, unique, unique. We have no more suffixes left for resistances. So we really need it. I also need to mention that, you know, even with my T1 res here, it is very on the edge. You could, so there are people who have mentioned that you shouldn't, or you could try to use it without Mageblood. They've tried, but it is significantly worse. Next up is Double Against Guys. Double Against Guys gives us less physical chaos damage taken, but not when hit. So this means that we can reduce the Fizz degen and the poison clouds with this chest here. So it's very good here. Anvil, of course, max block is good. It goes from 96 to 97 max block on POB. I think it's like 97.x max block. So, and it's cheap, so it's really good. Alternatively, you can use a focus. So I do use focus sometimes, you know. Brand attention range for sim and cast speed for ulti. Next up is Valerium. Okay, obviously Valerium. We use Valerium for custom stun, of course. Can't be poisoned. Right, if you have Mageblood, you can afford it. It is like 5 div, and it saves you a suffix on a flask. Speaking of flasks, what do we have? We have Silver Flask here, Reduce Curse, and Onslaught. So Onslaught, important because we need cast speed. Even though we have 2 Onslaughts, having the boosted cast speed from here, I think it's worth it. The curse is here, bleed TB, regen. So even though we have less regen altars, having some regen is still good. Right, it's still good. And then we have Avoid Shock here. And Avoid Shock is combined with Stormcharge here, so we can get element immunity across the board. Plus Lightning Res. Then we have the ring here. So this ring here is, I would consider, an optional extra. You can get away with a much better ring. Sorry, much worse ring. So I was running this ring here for a long time. At life and kill, the multi. Basically, most importantly, you want life and life and kill. Life and kill here is really good because it is considered instant recovery. So at 181, the ratio to my life pool is 3%. So this is essentially a death rush on a ring for me. And it's very good in Automatum. And perhaps the only time I've ever gone, please give me life and kill. Well, when I was rolling this ring, I was begging for it. Right? I was begging for it. Good mods, I will discuss later on. Generic helmets and generic boots. Quick mention that for sim, if you can fit it in, this Trails thing is very, very, very good for simulacrum, but not for old venom. Because old venom, we really want life and kill. For our jewels, we have immutable, a block spell chance, dual wielding crimson jewel, so dual wielding spell block and life. We need one max res jewel here, I think, so I'll go on over here. We have the Foulborn Red Dream. So for me, I sacrifice Chaos Res here to get Chaos Res here instead on our endurance charges. So I'm not capped yet, but I will be in combat. And even though I'm not capped now, I'm still capped against Chaos Res anyway, against damage over time. Just in case, right? Just in case. I also have Watcher's Eye with Vitality and Malevolence. So priority here is Vitality, then Malevolence. So life and hits gives us our life instant recovery on all our skills, all triggers, they all gain us life, right? We also have our Megalomaniac. So the priority here is an endurance charge mod, so enduring composure, then enduring ward, then mage brain, then anything else. I paid 2 div. First come first served, I guess, right? First come first served. Now CI, this CI Impossible Escape is currently 40 divines, right? Gives us curse, -5, poison damage, and poison duration. It's a really, really, really good. Now I will go over alternatives afterwards, but yeah, that's what I'm using right now. Here's my blood notch. You want 60%, really do, because even though we're blocking, we can still take our hits, and when hits come through, this means we get 60% plus 10% instant recovery, so we only lose 30% of the actual hits to our life pool, which then becomes recovered instantaneously over time. And that is our jewels for this build. So, as I mentioned earlier, we had DD with AoE and Prolif. We also have a Penance brand linked with Awaken Early Focus. This can be changed out, in my opinion. You can go for Swift Affliction, you have a green socket here, right? We have Swift Brand, of course, faster poisons. We have Plasma Stuns, Fist Lightning, so this is really important. We want Fist Lightning here because we want to convert our damage into lightning to trigger early overload. And this lets us do 1.4 times more damage, right? And then faster casting here to make faster brands. We also have Temp Chains, Despair, and Firestorm in our boots. And the secret tech here is on our dagger, we have trigger spell on block on 0.25 cooldown. We have Cold Snap. So this is the secret tech to gain friendly charges in combat. So what happens is we have a cooldown of 3 seconds on Cold Snap. So we can't even trigger this that often. Basically 1 in 5 seconds we get a Cold Snap trigger. And the way it works is that you can bypass the cooldown by expending a friendly charge. It is locked to 2.5 seconds no matter what. So we can maintain max friendly charges even with Cold Snap on a trigger skill. It's really, 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 really good in auto random. First one here for less recovery. Honestly, it's pretty marginal. You can just go in. Also, alternatives would be Spark or Ball Lightning as well into our utility links, but cooldown skills go into the dagger. We have Malevolence, Eternal Blessing, Vitality, Cast and Stunned, Purifying Flame, and Overconviction and Trathers. So Overconviction is quite good for Simulacrum because what it does is you end up doing a circle, and ulti is a circle. So basically you get to trigger this all the way around you non-stop. It's fantastic. And Purifying Flame, this lets us put Conk Ground everywhere. Conk Ground helps with some regen, so I like it a lot. So Ascendancy. The big reason why I do Ascendancy is for Gladiator. Obviously, we want our lucky block here, and Determined Survivor gives us a double block. So dual wielding gives us inherent 20 block, right? And then when we double it, it's now 40 block. So our block chance gets boosted by a huge amount from dual wielding through here. We also take Weapon Master here for more AoE, that's good. And more crit chance, also good. We have our Breach Ascendancy here for less fizz and less fire. Honestly, it could be less fizz, less lightning, doesn't matter. Most important is less physical. So our graphs here are PDR on all graph with percent life, and AoE damage with Ignite Chance on our fire one. This skill, I don't know what it does. I don't care. Doesn't matter. Ignite Chance, AoE damage. You could go Zoffs, but I don't even have a melee skill, so never mind. I have considered that maybe I could try get this working, but I can't get Foulborn, so it's really hard to get. So just these two. And since we are a trigger character, right? Our damage is from poison, and poison is from trigger skills. We cannot use explode. Our exploding is not good. I know that PGF uses a falling zombie with bleed chance to proc this explode, but in my opinion, it is better to just use CD with Proliff. This makes it so that we are doing gigantic fire ignites. Even though it's 6% less, it gives us, I think, 14% corpse life explosion versus 20. This is unlinked. Unlinked 20 versus fully linked 14%. And this is guaranteed. So yeah. As the other ones, they are kind of useless to be honest, but you could choose to use War of Attrition. If you're gonna do, if you're gonna do Simulacrum, take this one over here as well. Swap this for that, or swap this for that, because in Sim we don't need block. Block is useless in Sim. The masteries are Star Mastery. We don't want stun on hits, so this gives us crit immunity. For first hits, block chance here, max block here. We have max block here, and +2 brands here. For ultimatum, we want less dot damage taken, because our worst enemy right now is Ruin and Degens. So having less damage taking time is really good. For Simulacrum, I'll refund this and put it into brand range. And you can do it also. I have a separate sim, POB available on my sheets. There's two sims. There's two docs here. Make sure you look at the masteries carefully because they are changed. They are definitely changed. So shortcuts. Our shortcuts for this build basically start with our expensive pieces, right? So this glove here currently is 30 div. No, it's 45 div. Way too expensive. This is 7C. Okay. Faster poison isn't that important compared to poison proliff. So for sure, get poison proliff because this is 7C. This is 35 divines. Fuck that. Next is rings. This ring here, I only crafted today, right? I've been testing this build for 2 days now, and I got it today. I recommend priority is life and life and kill. The rest doesn't really matter, right? Cast speed, damage, dot multi, damage. Don't care. Attributes, life, life and kill. On our chest piece, we actually want a 40% less Fizz and Chaos and skip the implicits. Our priority here is +2 AoE or +2 duration over max res, and then together combination of +2 or +2 +1, right? Dagger priority here is spell block damage because we already have tons of damage, right? Tons of damage. We don't need another 10%. Doesn't matter. Lock chance priority. Nebulous priority is faster poison on implicits, then cast speed, attributes, and then damage. I know it's really expensive, but you can get away with just a cast speed. Good enough, bro. Cast speed plus damage. Good enough. For impossible escape, this is 40 div, right? But alternatively, what we can do is use a strangle grasp and anoint 1, 2, 3, 4 on strangle grasp, and that should be pretty much our alternative for impossible escape. because honestly, Anvil is pretty meaningless, all things considered. I worry because it gives me max block, but you might not need it initially, and Jungle Grass can get you all 4 annoyance for, you know, without paying 40 div. Next up is Megalomaniacs. So as I mentioned earlier, the priority is still Endurance chart somewhere, then Mageblood, then whatever else, okay? Doesn't matter. For Jules, our priority is Life, then Spell Block, then Max Res, then whatever else. For my build here, I only need 1 times Max Res Jewel, so only 1 of them. And here, I should divine this, but whatever. Next up is Foulborn Red Dream. Foulborn Red Dream, this here is currently 27 divines. But if you ignore the Chaos Res, it is 70C. So Chaos Res I'm using because I'm not capped, as I mentioned earlier. So you can just transfer this modifier to your ring. You get Chaos Res on your ring, you're now capped. And you're paying 70C rather than 30 divines. Amulets, I skipped that, so you can just place it again for our... If you have Impossible Escape, currently Max Res is 2 div, but you can also get Spell Block. That's also really good. Tattoos. Now, I know I have 20 div in tattoos. Well, more like 15 div. Yeah, just don't use them. Just keep it. Don't bother. Having 4% here should be enough for Prolif in general. It just won't be as smooth, okay? So if you can over time, tattoo them up. And finally, we have optional extras. So optional extras are things that I think will help you as a bonus. So our focus amulet here is very good if we want to do simulacrum. Major damage increase, and brand range is good too. If you don't need a brand range, you can go for cast speed on the crafted suffix. Our Cold taken as X Great Wolf gives us the ability to do crit prismatic inscribes. So this should be cheap, right? It should be cheap. It's like I can't search it, but it'll be cheap. Don't worry about that. And that is the optional extras for the build. Now I know this build is expensive, but this is basically the best version I've ever had since Affliction League. And it overcomes all the downsides of Chieftain while getting most of the upsides from Gladiator, right? Of course, I don't have triple block. I can risk losing to Ruin during ultimatums. So typically, not an issue, right? At 5, I'm gonna be careful, right? I'll dodge them if I'm gonna fail at 5 or 6. I will mention that Ruinous 4, that mod is the killer, and it is because of robots with the link skill and the degen pool. They will max your ruin stacks immediately, regardless of block. My best solution so far has been to stand on the edge of the ultimatum, right? If you stand on the very edge, because of our damage and our prolifs, we can kill the monsters before they spawn and before they reach us. So it's much harder to get ruin linked if you're standing on the very edge of the circle, right? So say there's a circle here. Right, if I stand right here, they'll spawn inside. We'll proc our PBs. PBs are all targeting over here. PBs go off, boom, boom, boom. Explosions go off, boom, boom, boom. And that is basically it. This build is a very, very, very well-rounded build. Obviously, it is an endgame build. I would stick with Chieftain, but Mageblood up, get Mageblood. For comfortable sake, I would say at least 50 divines. Ideally 100 divines, so Mageblood plus 100 divines. You can then swap over to this build. And of course, I've given you the shortcuts earlier, and that should be it. Hope you guys enjoyed the build. This build is very, very, very fun to play, and it is so relaxing and so chill. It is really fun. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!